Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is a place for feminine women to come and discuss all types of relationships. Romantic relationships, relationships with family, friends, children, co-parenting, marriage, divorce, relationships with our parents, professional and business relationships, and of course the most important relationship of all, the one we have with ourselves. I'll be here about 3 times a week to discuss these topics with you, and I encourage everyone to comment below to expand and continue the conversation. So please feel free to join in. I want to hear about your experiences and perspectives as well. Today we'll be discussing hypergamy and why we self-sabotage. I believe most of us have a general understanding of what hypergamy is, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the definition. If you need a detailed explanation of what it means, there are many videos out there on YouTube where you can find great content that detail hypergamy. This video is geared more towards why we as women self-sabotage when presented with an offer to become a hypergamous woman. So just for the point of reference, I'll give the definition found on Google, which is the action of marrying a person of a superior caste or class. In this video, when I say hypergamy, I'm going to also include dating, long-term relationships, live-in relationships, because many of us don't make it to marriage due to some of the things that we're just going to discuss today. And also many of us just choose not to get married. So most of the content on this channel is based off of my own personal experiences. From time to time, I will reference someone else's experience or reference resources to support my topic. But unless I reference them, you can assume that I'm speaking from personal experience. So I'd like to start with a little backstory as to why I can provide some insight on this topic. When I was 18, I met a man who was 34. And most often when we're discussing hypergamy, the man will be much older, because older men will be in a more secure, stable place financially than you are in most cases. When we're talking about hypergamy, that is always the case, but in most cases in general. So I met this man, and he began to court me. He would pick me up from school. He took me out to nice restaurants. He taught me how to drive. He took me on road trips. He took me shopping, bought me gifts. He even got me a puppy. And eventually, he moved me into his apartment. He would go as far as to occasionally light candles in the bathroom and give me a bubble bath and feed me fruit. He treated me like a queen. One evening, he took me out to this lovely restaurant on the lake and gave me a ring. He didn't propose, but he gave me a diamond ring. He said it was a commitment ring, I believe. For my birthday, he gave me $1,000 and a bottle of Dom Perignon. When I graduated from high school, he picked me up in a cherry red drop top convertible Mustang, and we went out to dinner with my family. He told me when I graduated from college that the car would be mine. He introduced me to his mother and his family and friends. Now, this was my first experience being with an older guy. He completely swept me off my feet. And this was it for me, the ultimate experience in my opinion. But at the same time, it was also very unfamiliar territory for me. Although I was getting the royal treatment, I didn't feel royal. I didn't feel worthy. It felt like a dream, too good to be true. So the story I told myself was that he had to have an ulterior motive. Why would this man be serious about me? I told myself, this is not going to end well for me. He's going to break my heart. He's going to manipulate me. He's going to move me out of state, away from my friends and family. He's going to get me pregnant and lock me up in the house. I came up with the worst possible scenario I could think of to give myself a legitimate reason to get away from him. Now, why did I do that? Because I didn't know my worth. I didn't know my value. I didn't know I was royalty. I didn't know I deserved to be loved and respected, honored, adored, and cherished, or that I deserved to be provided for or protected. This wasn't something I had ever seen before. My grandfather didn't treat my grandmother that way. My father didn't treat my mother that way. My uncles didn't treat my aunts that way. I had no role models that demonstrated this type of provider and protector. So I didn't know if I could trust it. No one told me this is how a man will treat you if he loves and values you. My father didn't show me or tell me that I was a princess, so I didn't recognize the royalty treatment. I didn't know who I was. So I sabotaged the relationship because I was afraid of what might happen if I trusted and believed in this man. It was a defense mechanism that I subconsciously created to protect myself from pain, heartache. Why? Well, I didn't know the answer to my why at the time. But over many years, through research, soul searching, prayer, and therapy, I learned that I created this defense mechanism because my father broke my heart. My parents separated before my 12th birthday, and in my experience, I was left. My father left me. He left me confused, brokenhearted, scared, with so many unanswered questions. I didn't know how to trust a man after that. Now I realized that I used the example of when I was 18 years old. But I went into my 30s with these same doubts, fears that I had when I was 18. I almost lost my current man, who is a provider and who is in a higher class than me. I thought I knew my worth until I met him and was put to the test. So I ask you, do you know who you are, and do you know your worth? If you think you do, the universe is going to test that theory, and it will be up to you to prove it. And that's what I want everyone to understand. When we don't know who we are, we self-sabotage because we don't know our worth. We don't know our value. We have a hard time accepting the offer of a hypergamous lifestyle because we don't feel we deserve it. We unconsciously put up defense mechanisms and develop coping strategies because we're afraid that someone is out to get us, afraid that someone is going to hurt us, afraid that we cannot trust, afraid that we'll be used and left again. We're unaware that most often when we're loved, desired, and cherished, it's because people see us for who we are at our core, even when we can't see it ourselves. This is why it is essential that we learn who we are, learn our worth and our value, develop self-love so that when we are presented with love, kindness, generosity, and royal treatment, we know we deserve it and can accept it, and in return reciprocate it. The most difficult thing is to accept love when you don't know you deserve it. I talk more in depth about self-love and self-care in my relationship you have with yourself video. So please listen to it and get the help and healing that you need to give yourself the best opportunity to accept love in your life. And I am here for consultations. My info is in the description box below. If you've enjoyed this content and it resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share the video with someone you think can benefit. I'll be back soon with other videos. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your time and hope you all have a great day or evening. And until the next one, be well.